So today everybody's talking about how great Opus 4.5 is and how great ChatGPT 5.2 is. Maybe they're not saying it's great, but that's all the buzz. And I love those tools too. But over the weekend, I was watching House of the Dragons and coding something, and I was amazed and blown away by Gemini 3 CLI, which I had not tried in months. So this is kind of the story of what I found. So yeah, this weekend I was watching House of Dragons to catch up because I think they're coming out with a new show in January, and I was coding something on the side. And my usual setup is I'll use Opus 4.5 and Claude Code as kind of my architect, tech lead that I speak to, and then I'll have a lot of the implementation done by Codex. And I've been using Codex 5.2 that just came out. Well, I've not been too happy with Codex 5.2. It's been pretty buggy, and it was getting hung up on some just simple environment and Git issues, and it ended up costing me tons of time. So I got fed up with it. And I said, I'm just going to try Gemini CLI. I enjoy working in the terminal. I've tried anti-gravity, but I've not tried Gemini CLI in the terminal in forever. So I installed it and booted it up, and it blew me away. It was much better than Codex, in my opinion. Not quite as good as Claude 4.5, but it got everything done. And I'll show you the app here in a minute that I built with it in a day. But some of the big takeaways from it and why I think you should look at Gemini 3 again in your code base, and especially the CLI tool, is that it has a huge context window. My project had started growing pretty big, and I could just navigate through it, or the LLM could navigate through it like it was butter. It knew everything I did. It remembered what I was doing. And I think the context window is like 2 million or something insane like that on Gemini 3. And it's much less than that, like I think 200,000 and 400,000 respectively for Codex and sorry, Claude Opus 4.5 and Codex, ChatGPT 5.2. But it had a huge, huge window. So I was expecting coming from Claude 4.5 or Opus 4.5 that this would just be total garbage, and it wasn't. So another thing that is great about it is somehow it's really, really fast. I think that both Opus 4.5 and Codex are sending all of their messages back to the server, the company servers, and returning their responses. I've not looked into it that much, but I looked into Gemini 3 and it's running more right in your terminal and has much closer access to all of your files. And it was lightning fast for everything. I was coming from Codex 5.2 where I was just falling asleep while the agent was out there doing its thing. So Gemini 3 CLI was much faster than Codex for sure, and at least on par with Opus 4.5. The other thing that was great was its accuracy and how much I could just leave it alone. Once it got started on an issue, I became very confident that it could complete full tasks for like 5 minutes without me having to interject. I was testing it out there in the beginning and I kept on expecting it to fail, and it didn't. Its personality was great too. It communicated with me really, really well. I mean, you do have to kind of watch Gemini in the CLI, just like anti-gravity. If you're not really specific with it, it will run away and just start building stuff. But as long as you're building out a plan for it to follow and you're explicit to tell it to stop after you're done with certain chunks so you can test, it it worked great. And I wasn't expecting that. The next thing is cost and time. So this probably saved me, I don't know how much money, but over the course of a month, this new setup I have, and I will start using this more and more, is going to save me hundreds, if not thousands of dollars. Because like I mentioned before, the setup I use is I kind of use Claude as my architect, where I'll ask architecting decisions, big changes, and I'll have Claude plan things out with me. I've been using Codex or ChatGPT 5.2 to actually do the implementation, but it's been screwing up a ton. I'm switching over to this now, and where on $20 with Claude, you could maybe run for 30 to 45 minutes of just straight sitting there coding with it. With Codex 5.2 on a $20 plan, you could maybe get, I don't know, an hour or two on that, depending how heavy you're using it. I built this entire app that I'm about to show you, and I spent all day coding it. I don't know, like 7 hours or something from start to finish with Gemini 3 CLI doing 90% of the implementation work, and I didn't run out of my daily limits at all. So if you're looking to save money, make sure you use this. I had not revisited it in a long time, and when I did, I was shocked. So let me just show you real quick. So I built this entire app. It's the app, if you've been watching this show, I'm not a good YouTuber. I just started, and it takes forever for me to put these shows together. So I built this app called One Man Media Empire that I'm using for myself right now. I'm sure I'll put it up on testandprod.co, which is live now, by the way, so you all can use it and see it. But it has tons of stuff in it. It's got this factory that I use to build my shows. It's all dynamic. It's got a system in there where, depending on the type of show I want to build and the segments I want to include, it gives me different types of bullet points. I have AI integrated into this. So I have a chat bot who's aware of what's on my screen and what's in my database and uses that to chat back with me with knowledge about what's happening in my app. It's great so far. I mean, it's still really, really clunky, and I've not really got started on the UI or anything like that, but I'm using it today to build this show and it worked just fine. And it all happened. Well, it didn't all happen because of Gemini 3 CLI, but a big part of it was. So that's my kind of lesson for the day, or something that I learned is take another look at Gemini 3 CLI. And if you're not used to working in the terminal, I encourage you to do it. I still like working in the terminal more so than some of the other UI based tools that are out there. And it's really not that scary because you have a genius LLM that can walk you through everything. So give that a try, and I'll talk to you all tomorrow.